Yari, lads, lasses, and MBs, welcome back to the Breaking Brad podcast. Thank you all so much for joining and watching and tuning in once again on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you choose to watch or listen. And today it's just myself and Trav today, so we thought we'd do a very special episode dedicated to Travis as we get to know Trav.
Yeah, before DJ Trav even plays the track, if you want to get to know us all, you should be following the social medias. Come on now, Segway King is back. At Breaking Brad Pod. You know, you've got your TikToks, you've got your Instagram, and you've got your Facebook. If you use them, just support us. Because you clearly listen to the pod. We've seen the responses from the last couple episodes, which have been fantastic. So yeah, at Breaking Brad Pod on all the socials.
Vengeance at the start, vengeance. Vengeance at the start, vengeance.
Right, Trav, what have you been up to, lad? Come on. It's been a turbulent few weeks. We won't get into it. But what have you been up to since?
Not much, really. For those that watch, maybe you don't think this. I do, because when I'm sat recording it, it annoys me. So if you think, oh god, yeah, this is a brilliant podcast, which you should, and you should definitely follow, like we said. But you think, oh, Travis's camera's just a bit shaky all the time. This is pissing me off. Well, don't worry about that, guys, because I'm getting a new desk. That's what's happened in my life this week. I discovered this new store called something like Yisk or something like that. It's like cheaper, smaller, more accessible version of IKEA. So yeah, got a desk, nerding out over it a little bit really, because it's got a cup holder, it's got a headphone holder, it's got 2 cable managements. So I will probably stop using these and just use the full Blue Yeti mic setup, because I'll actually be able to rest everything on the desk and I won't be shaking about.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
So yeah, apart from nerding out over a desk and sorting Christmas stuff out and all that malarkey, not really done much. What about you, Brad?
Absolutely not all. I don't know why, but I've been playing a lot of Among Us lately. I finally finished Crash 1 too. I'm very happy about that. So I'm currently halfway through Crash 2, and then I'll probably move on to Crash 3. But yeah, I've just been banging it out on Among Us.
That's a bit sus, that, not gonna lie.
I don't get that reference. Did first few presents the other day. I've got plenty more to go. Looking at Rex and thinking, fucking hell, you're cute. And eating, crying, wanking. There we go.
Right, speaking of gaming, we better talk about this really, because it's quite on brand. There's 2 things that have happened this week. The first one is, we finally know when GTA 6 is coming. What's your initial thoughts on GTA 6, Bradley?
I've not played GTA since GTA 5, actually. Is that the one with Nico Bellic and stuff? And Roman and shit?
Oh, no. That might be GTA 4, you know.
I think it is. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, I've not played... Oh, shit's falling over in the corner of my room. Whoops. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Yeah, I haven't played GTA 5 in donkeys. I haven't played GTA in donkeys. But then again, there's not been anything to play for GTA in donkeys. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really my cup of tea, to be honest.
For me, I'm a bit more hyped for it just because the one that I played the most was Vice City on the PS2. And because it's going to be set in Vice City again, but reimagined.
Is it?
With the... Yeah.
Oh, shit,
so,
cool.
I'm excited for that, but like most things these days, you probably need the newest updated consoles to get the best version of it anyway, so...
Yeah.
The other one I wanted to talk about, which I'm going to just talk about quickly because I've literally just tried it out, is the Fortnite collab with Lego. Now, come on, Fortnite. I know you don't want it for legal reasons, but just call it Minecraft, because that's what it is. It's Minecraft. There's a sandbox mode. There's a bloody survival mode, right? It's Minecraft. You're not fooling anyone. But if you want a free alternative, go for it, because I genuinely do recommend it. It's quite fun. I mean, I've only played about half an hour of it, but it's not a bad effort by Fortnite. And the fact that it's got Lego attached as well is just, you know, it's Lego, so it's cool.
I've never been one to play like the cool hip new thing. I've never been one of those people. But I know what I mean. I'll probably play Fortnite in like 2035 or something. So yeah, but I don't know. That sounds quite fun. I might have to check it out. Well, all that tangents out of the way. They started and now they've ended. And let's get to know Trav. So, for those of you who weren't aware or aren't aware, myself and Travis have been friends since for a good 14 years. So, of course, I met Travis. Yes, but that's right, we're jumping right into this. So, I met Travis round about the coming to the end of his mother's battle, which we'll get into, and I'll let Travis discuss because it's not for me to say. So, losing your mum at a young age and going through that, the only times that you've really spoken about it is right, like when you tell me that you don't really remember, you don't like stuff, all that sort of stuff. So take me through what it was like losing your mum at such a young age and what it's like being growing up without her.
Life moves on, and as morbid as it might seem, like, I can either sit here and get upset about it, which, don't get me wrong, it's natural, people do. I think this year especially, as I've probably been a little bit more emotionally fragile about it than most other years, just because I think it's really clicked in my head this year that I've try and think back to something, and there's only like a select few memories that I have. I guess it was just my brain kind of being like, nope, this is too traumatizing, so let's just block off, basically all your childhood from when it happened to before. Yeah, so I mean, everyone gets upset and stuff, but it's either you can dawn on stuff from the past that you can't change, or you can remain in the present where every decision you make is a change to what will happen in the future, whether it's good or bad. With it all kicking off, like, I was very much, I wasn't kept in the dark necessarily, but it wasn't a very big thing. Like, I knew I had to visit my mum in the hospice, but I didn't really understand what the hospice was necessarily. I just knew she was kind of ill, so I was kind of like, oh, she's just in a special hospital where there's less people. The only real takeaway from all of it was that obviously our family at that time, everyone was at different ages and stages, so they'd be like, my brother, he would go and live with my auntie and my uncle. My sister would live with my dad. My other sister, who's the eldest, she basically lived at my mum's house because she was old enough to, with a boyfriend at the time, a partner at the time, and I was the only person, and this is kind of the only resentment that I have, or negative feelings I have towards this part of my life, minus obviously the "oh, my mum's ill, that sucks" thing, is that I was the only person really that didn't have temporary living with a relative of some kind, and I wasn't treated the best there. I've had horrible experiences. Like, my first night I was there, I was on a wooden floor. Like, if you think a wooden floor where no one's even had a carpet installed on it yet, like, it's just the wood. I had a wood, a pillow, and a blanket. That was my first experience of not sleeping at my childhood home. A lot of nasty stuff that I won't really get into that happened there. So there is a little bit of resentment for that deep down, but it's like, at the time, they were family, friends, and trusted, and things have come out since to be like that should have never been the case. But when life gives you shit, you can either wipe it away with toilet paper or you can let it stick to your ass. Bit of a grim analogy there, but like there's obviously natural things, like, I'll just use you as an example because you're here, but it's like, sometimes I'll be a bit like, oh, grr, Bradley has a mum, or this person has a mum, and I don't have a mum. That's not fair. Fuck you guys. But, like, at the end of the day, my elder sister took the reins and was basically my second mum. Well, it was either the end of high school or the start of college. She had to stop that to look after my little brother, who at the time would have probably been about 5 or 6, me, who was like 9 or 10, and my sister, who's a bit older than me, she would have been about 12 or so. So she was looking after all her siblings and gave up her her higher education to look after us. And then has gone on to have 2 kids of her own and, stuff like that. So she's done a lot for me, and I'll be eternally grateful for that. And at the end of the day, you know, I've still got my dad. People have been in worse positions. It's not that I didn't have a mum. It's just that I don't have one now. And obviously, like, there are things I look at, like, my mum has pretty much missed, well, she's missed the majority of my life now, because she died when I was 9. I'm now 24. I don't know how to word it, but, like, basically, like, in the time that she was alive in my life, I've overcome that.
Your life's exceeded that.
Yeah. It might seem morbid to people, but if that event hadn't took place, I don't know if I'd be the person that I am now. You know, like, I had to learn how to wash my own clothes from an early age, how to cook certain foods, so I was already prepared, which is why it would piss me off a lot of the time when I go to uni and people go, "Oh, I don't even know how to use the washing machine. I've never even done my own clothes washing at home." And I'm like, mate, I've been doing this since I was like 10, 11 years old. Are you taking the piss? Like, but it shows you the difference between people that have had people there do stuff for them,
Yeah.
compared to people that have kind of had to do it on their own for whatever reason. To briefly summarise, it happened. I can't change it. All I can think is, you know, she did her best even in her last few days. You know, life moves on, and it's not like there's not something to commemorate her about. Like, I can go to a gravestone or whatever, or like, it's literally the wallpaper of my phone. Like, she's always there, but at the end of the day, just gotta move on, because if you live your life in the past, you can never improve the future. So, yeah.
Absolutely right. Absolutely bang on. There's pointless. It's something that not to make it about me, but it's something that I'm trying to figure out. Even though mine was only 2 years ago, it's something that I'm trying to. So it's still the wounds are still fresh in a weird way. So yeah, no, it's fucking awesome, man. And I've said it plenty of times, so I don't really need to repeat it. But it's incredible how far you've come with with the ASD. It's not that I really never really understood. It's just that I never really knew it about you until a lot later, because how I was raised by my mom. It sounds so cliche. Oh, treat them how you want to be treated, but it's true. You know, I never looked at someone of color and was like, oh, they're a different color. I never looked at someone, you know, with the looks of someone with, you know, Down syndrome and like, oh, they look a different way. My mom raised me to be incredibly respectful and that's one thing I'm really grateful for. So it's another thing that I never really needed to ask when we were friends. Well, when we were friends. No. When we were friends, fuck you, buddy. I never really needed to ask, and I never really wanted to ask, because to me, you were just Travis, you're my mate, who I'd see on a weekend, and I'd be excited to see him. We'd go like, so cringe. Play Doctor Who or Primeval, running into gardens and bushes. You know, doing the noises and monsters and shit. Oh, fucking cringe. Primeval, what show?
Yeah, I was going to say Primeval, what a show. Also, kids, if you don't know this concept, basically what you do is you knock on your friend's door and you ask if they're playing out. You don't have these mobile phones. You don't have the Fortnites and the Minecrafts. You have to actually go outside.
Being around Travis, I can't really label it because, like, I've never really seen him act in a way of someone that has autism. Because again, you've always acted normal to me. And just take us through that, and you know, from the journey of being that young little lad, being diagnosed with autism, to again going against the mold and accomplishing everything that you've done.
You say you've never really seen it, but I can name 2 incidents. Not even 2 incidents, 2 things. One of them is hyperfixation. I mean, you know how much I love Chicken Run and Hardman and all that. We won't get too much into it, but it's definitely one of them, is the WNCW phone incident. So, if you know, you know. But that, yeah, yeah. So that, I guess that counts as well. So, yeah, got diagnosed in 2003. My autism used to be really bad. It used to be a lot of just temper tantrums and breaking things and smashing things and shouting and screaming and swearing. That probably stopped when I was about 13, 14. When my sister had a proper serious word as me and was like, if you do that, if you did that on the street or something, no matter what you say or how you try justify it, depending on what you're doing or who you're doing it against, you probably will get arrested, so you probably want to stop that. And one of my deepest fears is going to prison because I just hate the thought of that. I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so, Chief. I want my right to my freedom, so kind of cut it out from there. See, people will think like, oh, you fucking think you're hard, you, mate, when I say this, but it's not like that. It's like, as you naturally grow up, you grow like taller and stronger just as your body develops. Like, again, not saying I'm hench or whatever, but like, I don't know my own strength a lot of the time, and that's just playfully. So if I was actually enraged, pissed off, blind rage, I don't actually know what damage I would be capable of, or if I just wouldn't think and I'd just get absolutely humbled by someone. So either or, I don't really either want to beat the shit out of someone or have someone beat the shit out of me. But a lot of it now, if I was in that situation, would just be getting angry to the point where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm going to punch something, and then just crying to release it all out. Going to like big cities and stuff can be quite overstimulating. Like my sensory overload is a lot to do with sound because what some people, this might be, educational to people that don't really know a lot about it, but you might already know it. Like if you are neurodivergent, like someone who isn't I'm not saying that someone who isn't neurodivergent, this wouldn't be the case, but I could be having a conversation with Bradley, and let's say it's a pub, and I would be listening to what Bradley's saying, but I'd also be able to hear the glasses clinking in the bar. I'd be able to hear other people's conversations, the music. Like, I would be taking all that in at once. So if that's too much too frequently, it stresses me out a bit, and I do need to have, like, a quiet area to just kind of chill. And an example of kind of how autism doesn't determine who you are, nightclubs. I go to nightclubs. I've been to nightclubs numerous times. If the music's too loud and the lights are too flashy, just go to the smoking area. Yeah, there's a lot of people chatting shit and whatever. Still, there's a lot of noise, but it's not glasses clinking, flashing lights, all that stuff. Blasting music. So just depends on the scenarios, really. Yeah, like my autism has just kind of evolved from being quite like it's gone from very like extreme to very tame, is what I'm basically trying to say. Like now, a lot of people, like you said, like not even because the way you're born, but people will just go, oh wait, you have autism? That's mad. But like, yeah, like it just gets to the point where people can't really see the difference, and this is the thing, like, not everyone is, and this is the only example I can think of, and I mean it no disrespect, but not everyone is kind of like a Harvey Price, where it's visually obvious, but it's obvious as well by the way that he's got extreme support with his mum and stuff, which some people are just on different levels of the spectrum. At the end of the day, my mum, wanted to raise me as a normal person so I could grow up, go to school, maybe go to uni. That was never in the conversation, obviously, because I hadn't even started high school yet. And, just get a job, be able to have a girlfriend, all of this different stuff. Like Bradley said, treat people the way you want to be treated, but also some people do need additional help. Even in those situations, I still had help from uni that I organised myself with, disability advisor. We'd have mentor sessions every week, just kind of a de-stress of catch up on general life and, catch up on like what deadlines have you got coming up this week, what assignments have you got, what research have you got. She would help me plan it all out, a little bit of a routine and stuff, which is another big part for me, is routine, which is why after I left uni, I did have a natural depression spurt, which is very common with people with ASD. Their ASD can encompass anxiety, which I do suffer from a lot more now, but I think because of the job I have, and I have to face people so face on being a bartender, that bit kind of goes away a bit more. So instead of awkwardly asking, "Oh, can I have a bus ticket from this place to this place?" it's just more confident because I have to actually socially interact with people full on, and they rely on me to provide them goods. So, but yeah, like depression is also naturally integrated in there as well. So there will be spurts where I do go through depressive periods, and like when I left uni, because I had no life structure or routine,
Yeah,
My
I remember
world.
that being. I remember it being quite bad for a good month or so after.
Yeah, like it just felt like, oh, I've got all of these planned in events, but when you take that away, it's just like, phew, like your world just crashes, and you're like, well, my life's got no purpose, so what do I do now? Just
Yeah.
sit in my room and cry? Yeah, it's something I'm not fully recovered from yet because my job doesn't give me a full-on routine. Hoping to improve that in the new year. Ultimately, I know this is so like, oh, preachy, whatever, but like, just because somebody's got something, don't be like, and it can be any disability or disorder or whatever, don't just be like, oh, little baby, or do you need help? Like, no one needs to get mothered. Like, even if someone requires a lot of assistance, like, you don't need to mother them. Like, they are still people, they are still independent. Like, it's a little bit, and there is a soundboard clip, so I'm going to use it, but yeah, it's a bit.
Oh no, gringe!
They often say that it's not a disability, it's a different ability. So, because I've got hyperfixations on media in general, whether that be content creation, film, TV, games, whatever, like, I'm sure Bradley won't mind me saying this, but this podcast, because of my autism, is as quickly produced as it is. Because I'm so into media and different aspects of it, I feel like I can contribute something to the world, and this podcast is one of those things I'm doing right now, helping my best mate out by helping him do what he wants to do. But just because somebody labels you with a disability or you're disabled doesn't mean that you're incompetent and that you can't just do nothing and that you're basically just going to have someone lay you in a bed all day and let you drink out of a bottle and stuff like that. Obviously, extreme cases, that's the thing. That has to happen. People obviously have to get looked after if they are completely immobile and stuff like that. But that person, no matter if you can't see their expressions or whatever, because they don't articulate that, they're still a person. They'll still have thoughts in their head. They'll still have, oh, I like this thing. Oh, I don't like that thing. Again, it's just a case of shit happens. Got to deal with the cards you get dealt. And once it happens, it's not like you can shuffle them. You've got your card. If you're playing blackjack, you've got your cards. Can't shuffle them. You can either raise or fold.
Moving on from that and kind of integrating with the, as you said, hyperfixation and stuff, but one of the things that really binded us and bonded us was wrestling. I don't even remember how. I probably just flicked on my phone, clicked on YouTube, and was like, have you seen this? And then it just went from there, I would assume. And then, of course, we had our cringy little backyard wrestling shit. And to eventually train and step in the ring like we would hope to, and we eventually did, take us through your mindset and take us through your journey of initially being like, that'd be cool to do. Alright, I'm gonna start training. Alright, I'm nearly in the ring now. Oh shit, I'm in the ring now. Oh fuck you, you're alright. Leave out that last bit. But again, take us through your journey and how much it mentally, because I never really got to ask you, and I never really have asked you mentally how taxing that was and is, because you're still in it.
Wrestling wasn't really something I was into when I was younger. Like one of the most youngest memories I can have is when me and my brother got two like brand new PE school kits. He got a Ben 10 one, and I got like a WWE John Cena one. And I was like, no, I want the Ben 10 one. Who's this fucking random guy on my rucksack? I don't think so, mate. And that was one
Oh,
time I went. That was one time where a term I've coined, and I wish I could copyright it, but I ain't got the funds for it. That's literally one time I went autistic ballistic, right? As fair as it. One day I would know who that man is because Bradley showed me the weird, interesting world of wrestling where I couldn't even say Alberto Del Rio, and the only people I knew was John Cena, The Undertaker, Randy Orton, Batista, and Rey Mysterio. They were the only guys that I knew at the time. Yeah, it was just really appealing, and I don't know why, but it was probably, well, I do know why a little bit, because it was kind of like I didn't really have a lot of friends around this time. Yeah, it was kind of, at first, a little bit of like, oh, if I like wrestling, Bradley will like me. But then the more that I kept watching it, I was like, actually, no. I don't care if Bradley likes me or not. I actually really enjoy this shit now. Yeah, there was the silly backyard stuff, and there's that, and then that was the birth of Donny franchise, except he was weird, goofy, and he used to speak like this, boy. And then, obviously, when I was the president and set up WAS last year, at first we didn't really plan to do a show, but I was like, it'd be cool if we
I'm
did, and I
sorry.
know I talked about this. Go
I
on.
just giggled a bit because she just went, "Well, I was the president," and then you just stopped for like a little millisecond, and then you went on to it. It just made me giggle.
We ended up actually being able to do a show, so as soon as he said we could, we was like, yep, we'll do it. The mental part of the training was a bit like, well, I'm the president. I'm telling people you have to put this work ethic in or you're not going to be actually doing the wrestling. But because I was a first-time trainee myself, that pressure was also on me but doubled, because I was, one, giving the commands, and two, I also had to follow the commands I was giving out even, because if I wasn't setting a good example by doing the training myself, other people weren't going to do it. Really, when it came to training, a lot of it for the first few sessions and first few months, and even when I returned back to training a couple months ago, it was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm good at this, I don't know if I'll be good at this, I don't know if, like, just getting in my head, which everybody does naturally when they first do it, but it lasted for
Oh
quite
God,
a while. And I do
yeah,
remember us having a chat about it as well. And
the self-doubt is one of the worst things. But like when you're behind the curtain, it's weird. You're pacing back and forth. Your stomach feels it. Your head's all over the place. You can start sweating and like you start like twiddling your fingers and shit, and then, like it's weird because like as soon as your music hits, boom, and you go out there and you see everyone, it all just shuts off. It's weird. I don't even think about it. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, justice will be boom out there. I'm like, right, I'm Kyle now. Let's fucking go. It's weird how like the switch flips so quickly. I can be 1 millisecond like, oh shit, oh god, my world's in turmoil. I'm gonna pass out. I feel sick. And then as soon as you go out there, you're like, oh, let's fucking go.
I think, especially because I also organised the event, and obviously with the help of my committee at the time, booked the show and organised the running order and stuff. There was already the prelude stress of there was no ring a month before the show. Shout out to Gareth Angel. We've shouted him out about 3 times during these podcasts, right? But he came in clutch and saved us
Absolutely.
a month before. So it wouldn't have even happened if it wasn't for him. We'd already sold at that point 85 tickets. So there could have been 85 people that would have had to get their
No,
tickets refunded. But then obviously when the show happened, there was 100 odd people in attendance, so much money raised for cancer research, and there was the pressure that I put on myself as well of I was kind of doing it as a memorial or like in memory of my mum. So I had that pressure as well. Yeah, it's like what you said, like there was like 100 odd people there. All people that I know from uni that just know me as Travis, or sometimes he goes to Musical Theatre Society, or sometimes I see him in class. Like, people from my class were there I didn't even know were going. Like, my girlfriend's in the crowd as well, and all of this, and I'm like, okay, well, this is fucking scary. But it's like you said, where you will be there proper stressing. And I was talking to Tim, check him out, Zachary Zest. He actually watches the pod and did give me a bit of feedback from the last one, so I really do appreciate that, Tim. Love you, brother. Well, not he said, but it's kind of related to what you said with his feedback of like, I feel like me and you are very much the same, where we will stress and worry and be like, oh god, oh here we go, it's about to happen, it's about to happen. But as soon as you open the door or you go through a fabric curtain or whatever, somehow it's like you're not Travis Cox or Bradley Hiley panicking, worrying. You're Donny Franchise, you're Kyle Kennedy. I think the reason why I wasn't as jittery once I came out was it was like now or never, and I'd had a few practice runs in NSAW, but it was also the crowd were just up for it from the very first second. The
Very
crowd
good
were
crowd.
up for it. Like, these are non-wrestling fans. A lot of them have just been like, "I will go support my mate because, you know, whatever, plus charity." But it's the most lively crowd, and I'm not saying this just because I booked the event and I put it on, but it's the most lively crowd I've seen this year, like local events-wise, because obviously Wembley All In, can't really top that. But local events, it was the most hyped crowd, and I can guarantee you about 92%, very specific, about 92% of them weren't even wrestling fans. I somehow just have an ability to be like, as soon as the ring rings up, I'm facing someone in the ring, it's like, right, we're having a match now, so whatever we say, we're going to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think to that, it's a factor of we've watched it for years since we were a kid. Unknowingly studied it since we were like, what, 9, 10? So it wasn't even a case of like, oh, I'm going to watch this because I'm going to do this one day. It was a case of we're just going to watch it because we enjoyed it. And then it just turned out we got to do it. So shout out to Zesty for that. Yeah, it's a good fucking shout, to be fair. Because like as soon as you get in there, you just switch on. And like, it's weird because it hurts when you're practicing and training, but then like the crowd takes all that away when you're out there. So when the crowd's on fire, when it's lit up, like, not to make it about me, but again, I don't like talking about our match. I don't like think about our match because it just gets me in such fucking depressing mode. That's kind of why I want to just run on from this and just keep going. The fact that we got to do that for those 5-6 minutes, the crowd, like you say, switched on from the as soon as you entered. They didn't know if you were the good guy or not, and you just came out like fucking it erupted. And then, like, as soon as I came out, they were like, all right, he's the good guy, so he's clearly the bad guy, so... And they just got it with the wrestling. It's weird how you can get in there, be in training, do practice runs, all this, and it'd be like, take a bump, fuck that hurt. And then, like, you know, you put your gear on, and you're like, oh, fuck, that's, oh, wow. And then, like, as soon as, like I say, when you get out there, you know, you're shitting it behind the curtain, you're like, oh fuck, oh god, oh. You get out there, boom, pain goes away. You're not Brad, you're not Trav, you're Kyle, you're Donnie, you're your character. And it all just dissipates and it's weird. You know, your fat ass. I'm sorry, I just woke him up. Oh yeah, 15.
It's Rex's debut.
Hello, yo. It's Rex's debut. This is my little meowma. Called Rex. My friend Amy named him.
Audio listeners, Bradley's holding up his cat. We're not giving each other pet names.
Yeah.
It's literally his pet's name. Wait a minute, Rex. Rex, what you saying? Say it again.
I said, whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe.
That is some filthy language. I agree, though. Good boy. Oh, he's not happy. I just woke him up. Sorry, mate. To end things off, I want to talk about your most recent success. The Film Award, briefly. We'll get into that. And then, of course, what led previously to that. Your time at university.
The one thing I can say about uni is it's humbled me a lot in the sense of I've got a very big perception now of loyalties and respect. And I've seen grown-ass people act like children. You know, I was going to uni when I was 20 years old. So a couple months into my first year of uni, I turned 21. So a lot of the people I was hanging around with were like 18, 19. Some of those people who were straight out of sixth form were a lot more mature than the people that had time off and gone to uni years later. And I also just kind of learned ultimately, like, you know, people's priorities, who you can lend a few quid to and they'll pay it you back, or, you know, can I have some food out of your cupboard and I'll repay it this way, or who's not going to shag your ex-missus and who will shag your ex-missus.
I get in trouble for being a shady bitch and you can just keep it in. Fuck off. What is that about? But no, I agree with you. I apologise for that. Alright, she came on to me, alright? I love you now.
It's just ultimately I learned, like, who I can actually trust, who has respect for me, and who, in turn, shares that same respect. Sammy and Chris and Matthew, Connell, and, you know, all the WAS boys and girls, really, especially have been there, especially in the last year. And obviously my girlfriend, Matthew's partner, Emily. There's a lot of people that I have met that ultimately enjoy a little bit of the tea, have a bitch every now and again, but also know when to be like, "Oi, listen, you're being a dickhead, mate, sort it out," and I in turn could go, "Oi, I don't like you're doing that," but it doesn't end up as, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be your friend anymore because you said that I did this wrong." It's just like, "Oh, okay, hold my hands up. Maybe I was a cock, or I didn't see it that way. Maybe I was a dickhead, but we can still be friends from it." Uni was just kind of the nice little full stop on education life that I missed out a couple of years prior that I probably should have done. And now that I've done it, I'm really happy to literally just like diagonal from me there, be able to look at my windowsill every day and kind of go, "Oh shit, I actually did earn the highest level of degree you can actually get in the qualification that I did," which for people that don't know, because I've not actually mentioned it the whole time, it was creative media and production. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it quite briefly, so I will just talk about it very quickly. But my degree and the work I did to get my degree ultimately got me an International Film Festival award. It's mad to think in this year I've wrestled properly for the first time, and not only that, wrestled my best mate, earned a film award, earned a degree, set up a little semi-freelance business thing. There's so much stuff more that I've probably done, but it is quite mad to look back and think like, oh, it's not just a year where I did things here and there that were good. It's just kind of been overall a successful year, which is nice because the last couple years have either been a shitload of stress or excited for something and then it just comes crashing down because it never happens.
Yeah, well, there we have it, I think. We'll end on that. Smashed it this year, mate. You're an inspiration, and I'm very proud of you, and I wish you nothing but the best. But, yeah, other than that, I just want to say, everyone, thank you for the continued support. As always, thank you all so much for watching and listening here on YouTube and Spotify and anywhere else you catch your pods. What is this, whale watching? Oh, if you don't know, a crew of whales is called a pod of whales. I'm going to shut the fuck up. I'm going to end this thing.
Catch your pods sounds like something that definitely happens at uni if you catch my drift. Wink.
This was Breaking Brad Pod episode 5, and today we broke Travis. We didn't break him, we got to know him, which is wonderful. Even I got to know some stuff that I didn't know. So hopefully y'all did too. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all in the next one. And that of course leaves me, your host, and my co-host, me Brad, and him Trav, to say bye-bye. But out.